So, a quick email here from Samantha, who says that she has fat arms.
Oh, Samantha. I mean, a lot of people, so many of you have a fixation with physical perfection these days. It's because we're bombarded with images of size zero models, an impossible ideal to attain.
It is, absolutely. Samantha, I'm sure your arms are absolutely fine. She's got an attachment here. So, oh my God, they are vast. Wow.
Alan.
That's... you've got a lovely face, Samantha. She's got a lovely face. Yeah. I've got to send this to Jonathan Ross.
OK, and, we've got a letter here from Lucinda. Lucinda says, I'm 45, but I'm going out with a 23-year-old man. We clicked straight away, but although he's very affectionate, we're yet to make love and he cannot maintain an erection. And I'm worried it's my fault. What shall I do?
Well, it's actually very common in younger men, much more so than people realise.
Yeah. I mean, these young men look all well and good in the underpant adverts, but when they hit the hay,
it's failure to launch.
I like it.
Sorry, come in here. What do young women make of it all these days?
Well, I suppose it comes down to confidence, really, doesn't it? Because I think a younger man can be a bit too eager to please, end up sort of at 6s and 7s. And then an older man, you know, with some experience, is perhaps a bit more at ease with himself.
Yeah, and of course we're very fortunate these days. We have Viagra.
Yeah, but although do not exceed the stated dose.
So you've suffered from that, have you, Alan?
No.
Well, a lot of men have. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
All right, once. But that was only because I'd already commenced foreplay when I remembered I hadn't renewed my tax disc. But once I put a quick call into the DVLA, lovemaking could begin in anger.
I think it's all about making sure the conditions are right, getting the mood right, the atmosphere.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm not going to be embarrassed about this, seeing as we're trying to be, grown up about this. There have been times when I've been more rubbery than turgid. I mean, you can't just summon up tumescence like room service.
Yeah, and I think it's partly down to the woman to sort of help set the mood a little, help man relax.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's all about mood. Take the phone off the hook. Put on some easy listening, Carpenter's, Enya, and of course, make sure the heating's on.
OK, got another email here from Paul in Swaffham on forced celebrity breeding. This one is Kylie Minogue and David Dickinson to make an Oompa Loompa.
Absolutely. Minogue provides the size, Dickinson provides the requisite skin tone and expression. Let's have some Alison Moyet.
Imagine two things you enjoy. Great individually, but put them together and you get something quite special. Strawberries and cream, egg and bacon, yawning and scratching, Johnson & Johnson, Charles and Camilla. But what about drugs and sex? This is chemsex. Chemsex is a compound word. Chem derived from the word chemical and sex from the word sex or sexiness. Confined largely to the gay community, it emerged around the year 2010.
A time of unrestrained glee as a nation dared to believe the nightmare of a Labour government could soon be over. And as revellers lost their minds to the sound of Keane and the Black Eyed Beans, little wonder that the hedonism spilled over into sex and drugs. The primary drugs involved in chemsex are crystal meth, GHB, ketamine and mephedrone, a dose of which, under controlled conditions, I was about to take myself under the watchful eye of pharmacist Dr. Raj Prasan.
Now, do you say MCAT or meow meow?
I say mephedrone, its chemical name.
Right. I like to say meow meow. You're going to administer this drug under controlled circumstances, and then I'm going to gauge its effects.
You're going to play guinea pig?
Right. That wasn't explained to me. I've never played that.
I mean, in terms of the experiment.
Oh, right. Sorry. I thought it was some sort of gay sex game. Yeah. I'm not sure a man can squeal like a guinea pig, can he?
I'm just a pharmacist.
Right, yeah, because you're the chem of the chemsex, yeah. So Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you're the Dr. Chem, and Mr. Sex, we've yet to meet.
I'm just a pharmacist.
You said that. So, you give us the drugs. Well, it's 30 minutes later, and I don't feel especially different. Certainly the thought of grinding myself against a stranger in a Holiday Inn is far from my thoughts. Yeah. Well, it's over an hour later. I've been told that one eyelid has drooped. I don't feel that much different. Am I in the mood for dancing? Absolutely. Do I feel sexy? Barely. Although I do have the sensation of wanting someone else to brush my hair. It's said the experiment replicates exactly the sensation of recreational drug use. Although instead of being surrounded by revellers, chewing gum and asking if you're having a good time, my only companion was a bearded doctor drinking coffee and reading a magazine. Well, the effects have completely worn off. My main recollection is an overwhelming desire to put on my comfy pyjamas and watch Tarzan. Is that sexy? I've no idea. But it was a very new feeling, and it was a very real feeling.
Alan, we're back on.
With respect, Councillor, I think our listeners will be more concerned about cuts to public services.
Well, absolutely, Terry, and that's why we've set out proposals to ensure...
Let me take it from here. Throw me the ball. Councillor, you talk a good game. I caught it, by the way. But I have figures that show that you plan to cut public spending.
Are you talking about the raw figures or the figures adjusted for inflation?
Yes.
Well, the first or the second?
The first.
Well,
for God's sake.
In that case, that's wrong, because if you look at the figures, the actual spend has remained the same as last year, see?
Yeah. No, I understand it. I'm just checking it.
Well, it's there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Another area where we've seen a great deal of public anger is in council housing. Now, what is the proposal here?
I meant the second. Sorry, I meant the second one. When you gave me the choice before, I meant the second choice where the figures are adjusted for inflation.
Well, Alan, we've made no secret of the fact that we're not going to keep pace with inflation. In fact, it's one of the few issues that we have cross-party agreement on, so...
Right.
We've made no secret of the fact that we're going to have to make...
Bus fares.
I'm sorry?
Bus fares. Have you not put up bus fares?
As we said in our manifesto, we won't be putting up bus fares in any...
Have you put up bus fares?
Not in real terms.
Have you put up bus fares?
In line with inflation, we have had to keep pace...
Yes or no? Have you put up bus fares?
In our manifesto...
Have you put up bus fares?
We've only put up bus fares.
Have you put up bus fares?
Yes, but only
yes,
in as
but
much...
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you want to see that interview back online and see me getting a politician to admit something slightly different from what they said earlier and then saying, look, you said something slightly different from what you said earlier.
No, and
so 1-0.
It's 10 a.m.
It's just after 10 a.m. You have been listening to Alan Partridge with special guest Tory Bronwyn Matthews.
Tory Councillor Bronwyn Matthews.
Yeah, her, and what's your name?
Terry Cohen.
Terry Cohen. Get well soon to Eddie Shadow.
Shepherd.
Who I'm sure will get well very soon. That's rhetoric, not a prognosis. Right now, you're listening to Mid-Morning Matters with Alan Partridge. See ya. Take a cup of personality, pour in some chat, and drink up some good company. i.e. Mid-Morning Matters with Alan Partridge. Good evening, morning, afternoon. Who cares? Who gives a flying monkey? Because today we're talking about things you don't see much of anymore. Already we have capes, tinned meat, Horlicks, sparrows, hula hoops, the crisps, not the toy. Hula hoops, the toy, not the crisp. Swimming pools with deep ends and asbestos. We'll be asking, should we bring some and or all of them back? So do please text
Twitter spam fax page, right, and or email.
Oh, Ruth, sorry again for the misunderstanding with your father.
Water under the bridge.
Yeah, it's just that I had not seen him in the studio before, and the reason I said I thought I told you to wait in the car was because I mistook him for my Uber driver. I don't know if you know, but the picture they show on the app, it's quite small.
To be honest, I quite enjoyed watching you squirm.
Hi, Ruth.
She never gives me a bloody inch, this one.
Going live in 5, 4...
Welcome back.
Now, as part of our crackdown on crime season, today we're looking at punishment. Yesterday, we heard your views on the return of flogging. But today, is mass imprisonment still good policy? Ruth Duggan joins us to tell us about a very different approach.
That's right, Jenny, because for the last 24 hours, Alan has been wearing an electronic tag. Voluntarily, I should add.
Yes, you should, if you don't mind.
Sorry, wouldn't want to cast you in a bad light.
Yeah, don't do that, we'll get letters.
Yeah, seriously, some people just don't like it.
So, Ruth, tell us about the tag. How does it work?
So, tags allow probation services to monitor compliance with home detention curfews.
Essentially, if you aren't home when you're meant to be, it raises the alarm.
Not quite right.
OK.
The latest tags, like the one you wore, monitor all of an offender's movements 24/7 using GPS.
Right, I see. I thought you told me...
Allowing us to track all their movements in real time or call up anywhere they've been over the last 24 hours.
Wow.
Right. Something civil liberties groups might well take issue with.
Yes. So this is your movement map for the 24 hours that you wore it.
OK.
And we can see that you made a few excursions during the day, starting with a trip to a swimming pool between 10 and 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Put in a few lengths.
Well, we know from the pool's website that it was water aerobics from 10 till 11.
Yes, this week I did do that.
Then there was a visit to Svensson Cosmetic Solutions. Is that a clinic? You were there for an hour just after 2 p.m.
No idea.
Well, we know you were.
No idea.
But it was you who went there. You don't remember?
Nothing.
It was yesterday, Alan.
That's something a probation officer might flag.
Hair clinic?
Likewise, your next stop, a visit to a clothes shop.
Ah, yes. McGovern's of Norwich, gentlemen's outfitters. They made me a pair of twill pleated notchback trousers for the Goodwood Revival Festival, which I needed to get fitted with an elastic waist. I'm afraid when it comes to my battle with my waistline, I'm waving the white flag. Not too self-conscious to admit that, you know, which proves I wasn't trying to conceal anything earlier.
You went back and forth to the gents' outfitters 16 times.
That's correct.
Which, again, a probation officer would query as it might imply illicit activity.
Or even indicate mental health issues.
Could do. I mean, I do 10 Sudokus a week, but yeah, could do.
Well, you can see how it looks odd.
Not really. I went to town to drop my trousers off, then it started raining, so I ran home, then I remembered I'd driven into town, so I ran back to the car park for my car, but realised I'd left my parking ticket at home, so I went back home to get my parking ticket, but couldn't get in because I left my house keys in the car, so I walked back to the car, got the house keys, walked back home, went in, got the parking ticket, walked back into town for the car and drove it back home. Then McGovern's called to say my trousers were ready, so drove back into town, got the trousers, but I realised I'd left my wallet at home, so I couldn't leave the car park again. Walked home, got my wallet, then walked back to get my car, but I left my car keys at home, so then I walked back to the car and drove home. Then I realised McGovern's had given me the wrong trousers, so I drove back to town, swapped them for the right ones before walking home.
That means you left your car.
Forget the car. I'm not bothered about the car. I was in pain. My scalp was bleeding.
Ruth Duggan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now it's time to return to Alan's sad stories. So things were going well between Gareth and I, but that was when our relationship took a twist that neither of us could have predicted. Shit, she writes, because Gareth died. But I married his twin brother because he had a twin brother who was identical. He had eyes like a cow too. So everything was back to normal again. Until one day I discovered Gareth's brother in a compromising position with Box of Quality Street.
He'd eaten 3 or 4 in sudden succession and completely ruined his appetite for the chicken dinner I'd so lovingly prepared. I was totally crushed. It was then I realised that Gareth's brother had a chock problem. Nothing would get in the way of his addiction. The lowest point came when I found him collapsed in a sugar-induced coma in the bogs of Yates's Wine Lodge in Yarmouth. We cried and cried that night. I reiterated my love for him, he reciprocated his love for me, and we shared a chocolatey kiss that will stay with me forever. But it was then that everything changed. Again. Because his weight had ballooned to 20 stone or thereabouts. When he came towards me to hug me, he fell on me and shattered my spine in 3 places. The police didn't believe him, and he was carted off to prison for GBH or attempted murder, I forget which. I still visit him once a week in prison, and he tells me, Alan, that he tunes into your show, and it offers him great solace, great comfort. Not that the show is aimed at the criminal fraternity in any way. The cons tend to listen to Orbital Digital, as many of them have learning difficulties. I should add, the reason I was able to visit him was because of a pioneering operation which enabled me to walk again, because they replaced my spine with a new one made of carbon fibre, which is actually the material they use in the engine blocks and chassis for Formula One cars. It's actually lighter than aluminium. Yours sincerely, Deirdre. P.S. Unfortunately, I can't remember what our favourite song was. What a sad story. OK, now, please do keep your calls, texts and faxes coming in on today's big question, which is, how often should you wash your towels? Ted in Wisbeck has been in touch. I don't use towels. I use a hairdryer set on cool. It takes a bit longer, but it feels lovely. And I finish off with a little talc for my testes and bum. Lovely stuff.